Hello guys, welcome to the Inspiration and Enlightenment Slow Talk. This is a part of a series in which I compare enlightenment and psychology. Today I'm going to talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I find interesting because it touches on enlightenment. Let me bring it up. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a pyramid with 8 layers, whereby the lower level layers are more fundamental and need to be taken care of first before we can consider taking care of the higher layers. So the lowest layer is physiological needs, that's food, water and air. Above that is our need for safety, the need to avert danger, and when we feel safe we can take care of, we can engage in relationships and in social behavior. And above that layer comes the esteem needs, which is our place in the social hierarchy. That's where all our ambitions are. And the layer above that is knowledge and understanding and aesthetic needs. So if we have satisfied our ambition and we have the place in society that we want, we can be more like we have a capacity to be like a scientist, a researcher, or an artist, doing music, painting, and so on. Now the top 2 layers are called self-actualization and self-transcendence, and these 2 layers are concerned with enlightenment. Now I modified this pyramid to fit it more into the Inspiration and Enlightenment Workshop. Let me bring that up now. So the main difference is between the 2 higher layers. I changed the term from, I turned self-actualization into the heart's desire and self-transcendence into enlightenment. Self-actualization is pretty much what I call the heart's desire, the one thing we want to be and experience in this incarnation, or in a particular incarnation. In my case, it's I want to be an inspiring writer. What is your heart's desire? Why is enlightenment the same thing as self-transcendence? Because enlightenment is a process, it's a transformational process. We cannot do enlightenment and stay the way we are. Alright, let's revisit the basics of enlightenment. Who are we? We are immortal souls who have planetary experiences. And because every experience gets boring, we need to continuously evolve our capacity to experience. And since it is the mind which experiences, it means that we need to continuously evolve our mind. And the process of evolving our mind is enlightenment. Enlightenment is a process, the expansion of consciousness. Now, enlightenment applies to all the layers of the hierarchy, because we can learn and expand our consciousness on all layers, but it also gives access to other realities and the totality of ourself, or aspects of ourself we are usually not aware of, for example the soul or the higher self, or even higher spheres of ourselves. Now, when we dedicate ourselves to enlightenment, the game changes. the experiencing game changes, because now we can now pursue enlightenment on all layers. For example, we can deprive us of physical needs in order to give us a little enlightenment boost. That's fasting. Or we can deprive ourselves from the belonging to people and society to boost enlightenment, and that's when we sit in a cave on a mountain and meditate. So when we dedicate ourselves to enlightenment, the needs turn more into tools or opportunities that help us to evolve on all layers. All right, let's have a look how the Maslow's hierarchy of needs compares to the Enlightenment psychology model. Let me bring that up. So before I go into that, I want to remind you that the soul is our true self-consciousness. So when we wake up in the morning, the soul descends into personality and identifies itself with the avatar and has a day of experiences as an avatar. So we have 5 basic spheres within in the Enlightenment psychology model, which is the higher self and the soul, the intellect and the emotions, and then the mind and avatar with the subconsciousness, and the body. So physiological needs, it's pretty clear they belong to the body. Esteem needs and relationships, I put them on the layer of the mind and the avatar, and the safety somewhere in between. Now this is a bit of a blur, because these lower needs, like physiological, safety, relationships and social status, they are ruled by emotional modes, and these emotional modes are ruled by the body. For example, there's the hunger mode, there's the thirst mode, the fear mode, which can turn into a flight mode or an aggression mode, the loneliness mode, which keeps us clinging together in relationships, and the status mode. These modes are a complex interplay of brain activity, spinal cord, nervous activity, and chemicals, hormones. For example, the status mode is controlled by our serotonin level. So if we fail and we have trouble with our social status, our serotonin level drops, and if we succeed, it rises and we become confident and things like that. Mind that these modes are millions of years old, and they are governed by the older ancient part of the brain. So these emotional modes, and that means the first 4 layers of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, are governed by the body and the brain awareness, but we experience them in our minds, and that's why I put them on the level of the avatar and the mind. Right? So knowledge and understanding can easily be associated with the intellect and our aesthetic needs to the emotions, whereby I would like to add that our aesthetic needs are closely related to our need for creativity, which does not appear in Maslow's concepts, but the need to play is a very, very important need, and that's incidentally the place or the state of mind that children occupy most of the day. So it's a very original and natural need that we have. And the German writer and philosopher Friedrich Schiller, he actually thinks that the play drive is the most fundamental human drive of all. So on the level of the higher self and the soul, we have enlightenment and the heart's desire. The soul always pursues enlightenment. The soul is always bored, and the soul always wants to evolve its capacity to experience. Now, I'd like to look also at the 4 soul values, because they modify the model a little bit. And the 4 soul values are a sense of beauty, a love, happiness, and purpose. So love, Maslow assigns love to the relationship level, but on the relationship level, which is the level where the avatar functions, we experience romance, infatuation, and sex. Love is something else. Only the soul and the higher self can love. Love is unconditional, or it is not love. And it is projective. It is a giver, not a taker. Of course, we can experience, or rather express, love in our relationships, but that expression of love comes from the above. It is not produced on the relationship layer of the hierarchy of needs. So I made these distinctions for the purpose of classification, and in reality these things are of course mixed up in our mind, or they're happening at the same time in our mind. For example, the mind watches the multimedia stream of our sense impressions. It is subjected to emotional moods. The body produces, depending on the external situations, it thinks, it analyzes, comes up with ideas, it gets creative, it imagines and fancies, and it expresses love, happiness, and purpose, which are pushed down by the soul. And it's a huge mess in the mind, and it is very important that we distinguish these things and understand on which level we function at which point in time. Because we want enlightenment, and that means we want to rise. And that means we need to resist and manage the pulls from below. Thank you for watching this episode of the Inspiration and Enlightenment Slow Talk. Please spread the light with a like and share, and don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.